Have you ever wondered why the most brilliant minds in history seemed to stumble when it came to understanding the hearts of women? Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor who could command legions and contemplate the cosmos, wrote extensively about virtue and wisdom, yet his personal letters reveal a man deeply puzzled by the emotional complexities of love. Seneca, who could dissect human nature with surgical precision, admitted that matters of the heart often defied his logical frameworks. Even Aristotle, who categorized everything from politics to poetry, found himself confounded by what he called the eternal mystery of feminine nature. The truth is, understanding women isn't about cracking some secret code or mastering manipulation tactics. It's about recognizing fundamental psychological principles that govern how emotional connection, trust, and attraction actually work. And here's what might surprise you. The ancient Stoics, despite their reputation for emotional detachment, actually understood these principles better than most modern dating advice ever will. Today, we're going to explore the psychology behind feminine attraction, emotional connection, and love itself through the lens of Stoic wisdom. But before we dive in, let me be clear about something. This isn't about viewing women as puzzles to be solved or games to be won. It's about understanding the deeper psychological truths that create genuine connection between human beings. And if you stay with me until the end, I will share with you an ancient story that will illustrate the essence of this episode. The first principle we need to understand is what psychologists call emotional attunement. Women, generally speaking, are more neurologically wired for emotional processing and social connection. This isn't a weakness or a flaw. It's an evolutionary advantage that has allowed our species to thrive. The female brain typically has more connections between the emotional centers and the verbal processing areas, which means women often experience and express emotions more fluidly than men. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking." But when it comes to relationships, this principle takes on a deeper meaning. Women are often attracted to men who demonstrate emotional intelligence not through grand gestures or perfect words, but through consistent presence and understanding. Think about it this way. When a woman shares her feelings with you, she's not necessarily looking for you to fix her problems. She's creating an opportunity for emotional connection. The Stoic response isn't to dismiss emotions as irrational, but to understand them as information about what matters to another person. Epictetus taught us to focus on what we can control, and in relationships, what we can control is our response, our presence, and our capacity for understanding. The second psychological principle is what researchers call security and challenge. This might sound contradictory, but it's actually the foundation of lasting attraction. Women are drawn to men who can provide both emotional security and intellectual stimulation. Security doesn't mean being boring or predictable. It means being reliable in your character and consistent in your values. Challenge doesn't mean being difficult or playing games. It means continuing to grow, learn, and evolve as a person. Seneca understood this balance perfectly when he wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." In relationships, this means that attraction isn't a destination you reach. It's a dynamic process you participate in. The most attractive men aren't those who have achieved some perfect state, but those who are actively engaged in becoming better versions of themselves. Here's where most men get it wrong. They think they need to choose between being the nice guy who provides security or the bad boy who provides challenge. But psychology shows us that the most attractive combination is being someone who is fundamentally good and reliable while also being passionate about something meaningful in life. Women are attracted to men who have what psychologists call secure attachment combined with personal agency. The third principle is understanding the difference between validation and appreciation. Many men try to win women over through constant compliments and validation. But this often backfires because it signals insecurity rather than genuine appreciation. There's a crucial difference. Validation seeks approval, while appreciation recognizes value. When Marcus Aurelius wrote about his wife, Faustina, he didn't shower her with empty flattery. Instead, he expressed genuine appreciation for her qualities and contributions to his life. This kind of recognition comes from a place of strength and security, not from a desperate need to be liked. Women can sense the difference immediately. Validation feels needy and transactional, Appreciation feels genuine and honoring. The Stoic approach is to appreciate others not because of what they can do for you, but because of who they are and what they bring to the world. Now let's talk about one of the most misunderstood aspects of feminine psychology, the role of emotions in decision-making. Our culture often portrays emotional decision-making as inferior to logical reasoning, but modern neuroscience tells us a different story. Emotions aren't the opposite of logic. They're a form of rapid information processing that takes into account complex social and relational factors that pure logic might miss. When a woman says she has a feeling about someone or something, she's often processing subtle social cues, body language, tone of voice, and behavioral patterns at a subconscious level. This emotional intelligence has been crucial for human survival and relationship success throughout history. The Stoic response isn't to dismiss these emotional insights, but to understand and respect them. Epictetus taught that wisdom comes from understanding the nature of things, and the nature of human connection includes both rational and emotional elements. The wisest men are those who can appreciate and work with both. This brings us to the fourth principle, the psychology of respect and admiration. While men often focus on being liked or desired, women are more deeply attracted to men they can respect and admire. This isn't about status or achievement in the conventional sense. It's about character, integrity, and the way a man handles challenges. Cato the Younger was known for his unwavering principles, even when they cost him politically or socially. Women throughout history have been drawn to men who demonstrate this kind of moral courage, not because they want to be dominated, but because they want to be with someone whose character they can truly respect. Respect is earned through consistency between values and actions, through how you treat others when no one is watching, and through your response to adversity. A man who can maintain his principles under pressure, who treats service workers with the same courtesy he shows to important people, who can admit when he's wrong and learn from mistakes. These are the qualities that create deep, lasting attraction. The fifth principle involves understanding the feminine need for emotional safety. This goes deeper than physical safety, though that's certainly important. Emotional safety means being with someone who won't use your vulnerabilities against you, who won't shame you for your feelings, and who creates space for you to be authentically yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." In relationships, this means being fully present when someone is sharing with you, rather than planning your response or judging their experience. Women often test emotional safety by sharing something vulnerable and observing how it's received. The man who can listen without judgment, who can hold space for difficult emotions without trying to immediately fix or change them, creates the kind of safety that allows love to flourish. This doesn't mean being a pushover or having no boundaries. Stoic philosophy teaches us to be compassionate without being weak, understanding without being naive. You can provide emotional safety while still maintaining your own integrity and standards. The sixth principle is what psychologists call differentiation. This is the ability to be close to someone while still maintaining your own identity, values, and goals. Many men make the mistake of either being too distant and unavailable, or too enmeshed and losing themselves in the relationship. Seneca understood this balance when he wrote about friendship and love. He valued deep connection while maintaining his philosophical practice and personal growth. Women are attracted to men who can be intimate without being dependent, who can love without losing themselves. This means having your own interests, goals, and friendships outside the relationship. It means being able to disagree respectfully and maintain your own opinions. It means supporting her dreams while pursuing your own. Paradoxically, the more you can maintain your own identity, the more attractive you become as a partner. Now, let's address one of the most controversial topics in modern dating, the role of masculinity in attraction. There's been a lot of confusion about what healthy masculinity looks like, with some people rejecting all traditional masculine traits and others clinging to outdated stereotypes. The Stoic understanding of masculinity is neither domineering nor passive. It's about taking responsibility for your own life and choices, protecting and providing for those you care about, and using your strength in service of virtue and justice. This kind of masculinity is attractive not because it dominates, but because it creates and protects. Think about the masculine archetypes that women have been drawn to throughout history: the protector, the provider, the leader, the creator. These aren't about power over others. They're about the capacity to take responsibility and create positive change in the world. A man who can lead by example, who can make difficult decisions when necessary, who can remain calm and centered in crisis. These qualities create a sense of security and admiration. The seventh principle involves understanding the difference between chemistry and compatibility. Chemistry is that immediate spark of attraction and connection. Compatibility is the deeper alignment of values, goals, and life vision. Both are important, but they serve different functions in relationships. Chemistry often develops quickly and can be intense, but it's not always predictable or controllable. Compatibility, on the other hand, can be cultivated through shared experiences, mutual respect, and aligned values. The Stoic approach is to appreciate chemistry when it occurs naturally, while focusing your energy on building compatibility through character development and shared purpose. This means being clear about your own values and life direction so you can recognize when you meet someone who shares or complements them. It means looking beyond surface attraction to deeper questions of character and compatibility. It means being patient enough to let real connection develop over time rather than forcing immediate intensity. The eighth principle is understanding the role of mystery and discovery in attraction. This doesn't mean being secretive or playing games, but rather maintaining your own growth and development so that there's always more to discover about you. The most attractive people are those who continue to evolve, learn, and surprise even those closest to them. Epictetus taught that we should focus on our own development and let others discover our worth through our actions rather than our words. In relationships, this means being more interested in becoming an interesting person than in trying to appear interesting. It means having genuine passions and pursuits that make you come alive, so that your enthusiasm and growth become naturally attractive. Women are drawn to men who have depth, who have layers to discover, who continue to surprise and inspire even after years of knowing them. This isn't about being unpredictable or inconsistent. It's about being genuinely engaged with life and growth. The ninth principle involves understanding the psychology of commitment and freedom. Many men think that women want to trap them or limit their freedom, but the reality is more complex. Women want to be chosen, not trapped. They want to be with someone who chooses to be with them, not because he has no other options, but because he genuinely wants to build a life together. This requires what Stoics call voluntary commitment. It's not about giving up your freedom. It's about choosing to use your freedom in service of something meaningful. When a man can commit not from desperation or social pressure, but from genuine choice and vision for the future, it creates a completely different dynamic in the relationship. The 10th and final principle is understanding that love itself is both an emotion and a practice. The Greeks had multiple words for love, recognizing that the feeling of attraction, the choice of commitment, and the daily practice of care are all different aspects of the same phenomenon. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about love as a virtue, not just a feeling. Stoic love is active, intentional, and focused on the well-being of the beloved. It's not possessive or demanding, but generous and supportive. This kind of love is attractive because it's stable, reliable, and growth-oriented. The most attractive men are those who understand that love is something you do, not just something you feel. They show love through consistent actions, through support during difficult times, through celebration of successes, and through the daily choice to prioritize the relationship and the person they're with. But here's the deeper truth that ties all of these principles together. The most attractive thing about a man isn't any specific technique or strategy. It's his relationship with himself. Women are drawn to men who have done the inner work, who understand their own emotions and motivations, who have developed genuine self-respect and self-knowledge. This is why Stoic philosophy is so relevant to relationships. The Stoic practices of self-examination, emotional regulation, virtue development, and focus on what you can control create exactly the kind of inner stability and strength that forms the foundation of attractive masculinity. When you know who you are and what you stand for, when you can remain centered in the face of challenges, when you treat others with respect and dignity, regardless of how they treat you, when you're committed to continuous growth and learning, you become naturally attractive not through manipulation or technique, but through authentic character development. The secret psychology of women isn't really about women at all. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally creates connection, respect, and love through the quality of your character and the depth of your understanding. It's about recognizing that the best relationships aren't about finding the right person, but about becoming the right person. As Seneca wrote, love in its essence is spiritual fire. The men who understand this, who approach relationships not as games to be won, but as opportunities for mutual growth and connection, these are the men who create the kind of love that lasts. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern dating culture often misses. True attraction isn't about tricks or techniques. It's about virtue, character, and the genuine capacity to create value in another person's life. When you focus on developing these qualities in yourself, you don't need to chase love or try to manufacture attraction. Instead, you become the kind of person that others naturally want to be around, to learn from, and to build a life with. This is the real secret psychology of women in love. It's not about understanding women as some foreign species, but about understanding the universal human needs for respect, security, growth, and genuine connection. When you can meet these needs through your own character development and emotional intelligence, you create the foundation for the kind of love that the ancient philosophers wrote about, the kind that enriches both people and stands the test of time. Now, before you go, let me tell you a story that perfectly captures today's episode. There once lived a merchant named Lysander who believed he could win any woman's heart through clever words and expensive gifts. He had studied every scroll on rhetoric and persuasion, memorized poetry, and accumulated great wealth for this purpose. One day he encountered a potter's daughter named Sophia, whose beauty was matched only by her wisdom. Determined to win her, Lysander arrived at her workshop with silk, jewels, and his most eloquent speeches. But Sophia barely looked up from her clay. "Your words are beautiful," she said, "but watch." She placed 2 vessels before him, one ornate and gilded, the other simple and unadorned. Then she poured water into both. The decorated vessel, weakened by its excessive ornamentation, cracked and leaked. The simple vessel held the water perfectly. "Which vessel would you trust to carry water for your journey?" she asked. Lysander pointed to the simple one. "Then you understand," Sophia smiled. "I seek not the man with the most beautiful words or the finest decorations, but the one whose character can hold the weight of love without breaking." The merchant realized that all his clever strategies were merely gilding on a cracked foundation. Only when he began to strengthen his character rather than polish his presentation did he become worthy of her choice. Like Lysander, many of us spend years perfecting our external presentation while neglecting the foundation of our character. We memorize clever lines, accumulate status symbols, and study techniques, all while our inner vessel remains fragile and unreliable. But true attraction, the kind that creates lasting love and deep connection, can only be built on the solid foundation of virtue, integrity, and genuine self-knowledge. The Stoics understood this fundamental truth. You cannot give what you do not possess, and you cannot attract what you have not become. So as you leave here today, remember that the secret psychology of women in love isn't found in manipulation or strategy, but in the ancient wisdom of becoming a person worthy of love. Focus not on winning hearts, but on strengthening your own character. Develop not clever tactics, but genuine virtues. Build not a beautiful facade, but a vessel strong enough to hold the sacred trust of another human being. For in the end, love is not a conquest to be achieved, but a gift to be earned through the patient work of becoming your highest self.